play Rui Lopez here. Long theory though. Classical line mode for defense. h3. I used to play h3, very simple idea, to avoid some martial attack by d5. Because if you're gonna play c3, there is a huge chance for black to continue with the martial attack, and this is one of the most promising and sharpest ever response by black and Rui Lopez. So after he takes d5, white it's martial attack, or a little bit like gambit, depends on white. Wanna go for it, you can still avoid that by pushing down d4. Takes on e5, you have to be very well prepared here, otherwise black can organize his pieces on the king side part soon, followed by next few moves, and white could be in trouble. By bishop d6, fast queen h4, e the queen, e the bishop g4, bishop h3, knight f4, e the queen e5. So all this could be quite hanging because white is not having knight on f3, so this is the idea of martial attack. As fast as possible attacking you here using the fact that you still don't have a d4 on the board and you're not able to bring the knight as fast as possible to challenge him in the center. I don't like so much this position to win this pawn, and that's why I used to play h3. And if right now martial attack is happening, I want to take, one of the best moves in this position will be directly challenge the center by knight c3 and avoiding all these problems. Or even after that line, it's not anymore the same, because again we have d3, but next move knight c3 again challenge the center. Used to play bishop e7, we keep going with the Morphy defense. I did d3, I was preparing a little bit and I knew that this is one of the best line by engine. And before. Here I was surprised, I didn't know that move. I didn't know how to react, so I simplified everything on the A file and now have to find out some precise move. I push c3, Computer is already showing plus 1.2 for white. Seems like quite good position. So there are about several good moves for white, but I think I did number 1. The other good move was a bishop g5. I didn't think about that. c3, eliminate him, and I move the bishop here, which is quite wrong decision. So makes no point if you're super well prepared, chat, if you don't really understand the position so well, or when opponent is surprising you. I didn't know the move knight b4. Could be theory. Let's check out if there's some games even here. No, 0 games. Right now we have 0 games after knight b4. c3, there we go. At a6, and my next move was very wrong, bishop d5. I have to simply play bishop c2 and keep going with the standard plan of Rui Lopez. There we go, knight f1, knight g3, e the knight e3, e the knight e4, attacking him, and this knight could be a little bit later out of the playing area. Bishop d5 was very wrong decision. Rook d8, capture the knight, bishop takes c6, I took here. Go back, like martial attack, happening almost a similar one. He exchanged here, and now it looks like pretty drawish this endgame. Knight d3, very annoying move. f4 could be also interesting counterattack. Depends of which piece you'd like to stay on the board with. Probably bishop now is slightly stronger comparing to the knight. Rook a8. Rook c2. Take my knight. If he didn't actually take my knight, he could try first to check me. Then f6, and let's say this road for the king could be quite interesting. But I think knight was more flexible. So I can kick him out, I can step here. I can also bring knight in this way. So he maybe has to worry more about that because of pawn majority on the queen side part. He exchange here. b4. I took on b4. So here I'm not sure. We can stop on for a second to think about which decision could be. Alright, push c4, stay like that, bring the king. These are few candidates. I had 3 minutes in this moment. Again, not enough time to analyze deeper this endgame. That's why we have to know endgames very well. This is not a common or either theoretical position, but we have to know in advance what could ever happen. What is our maybe advanced advantage? Which pawn it's good to support of? I thought after the game that king f1, bring my king to d3 could be the most winning chances for me. I'm still keeping the fact that bringing the king as fast as possible to the queen side part without this simplification will be much better. Because this simplification bringing me 3 isolated pawns, pair of double pawns. Actually, I currently have a ocean of isolated pawns. I currently have 6 isolated pawns. That's too much. That's too much. So I think that c takes b4 is not that great because most of my pawns a little bit later have been hanging. So after c takes b4, rook b8, rook c2, take, try to checkmate, but now which pawn has to be covered? This one, either this one. Again, decision in front of me. Yeah. The worst pawn structure ever. But let's share with you what I was scared about. I was scared about b3, bam, rook a1, and b2 gonna be forever weak. So he's having ever that road for the rook. So I really didn't wish to overestimate that plan of him. So he's able to make that. Push b3, rook a1, rook c1, and rook c2. And also bring the king here closer to that side of the board is quite risky. He's able to take once here and he's going to be the faster attacker, collect some more pawns, but probably again this support will be much better. King here, and if I am supposed to have 2 connected pass pawns on the queen side part against h pass pawn will be much better deal. c4, yeah, I could try to push c4 again. That plan, bring king to the side where you're strong, is the fastest plan, is the most correct plan how you're able to win. Not separate your pawns like I did it, because then it was a very easy job to him. I wanted to keep the distant pawn, like b pawn, comparing to the d pawn, because if I keep the d pawn, then it's gonna be very easy for him. His king is very close to the d pawn, so it makes no sense. Much better to keep the distant pawn, b pawn, for eventual promoting it or support it with my king. We have topic of the stream, so don't ask me tough questions, please. f1, g7. And you know why I bring later the king to g2? Because all my plan was more or less connected with the b3, rook b2, and go straight, push. But let's check out what's going on if I'm gonna push b3. I was worried about that move. And I thought I don't really have time to come here. He will simply collect all my pawns. All my pawns. And he will still have time to bring the rook back to the backstage to block out that. There we go. And I didn't like that position. Why? Because he can advance h pawn very, very fast through this way. Push, 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 push everything here, and it will be a very hard job to block out h and g pawns until reaching my b pawn, and of course in the end he's simply able to sacrifice the rook. He's able to sacrifice the rook for that. Don't lose h3. Yeah, I'm able to bring the king to g2, but then he's able to block out the pawn in the earlier way. Yes. And now I can try to bring the king here. Maybe this could be a slightly better scenario. He can also bring the king. I think he can also bring the king, so I cannot really kick him out so easy. And now I'm supposed to lose again any of those isolated pawns. There is a fantastic counterattack of black in this way. So some pluses to sacrifice h-pawn. I wanted to sacrifice h-pawn to advance my b-pawn, but the problem is he's having enough time to block out the pawn. I told you this is not so okay for me. So that's why I never pushed b3. But after he blockaded me like that, excellent way to blockade the b-pawn. Here, no chances. Draw.